This your boy Snake Eye, Bomb First TV checking in. Salute to that military for dropping them bombs on that like button before we even get lit. Hey, let's get right into it. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And also make sure you drop comments for your boy Snake Eye, man. We're going to run it up on Bomb First TV. Let's get right into it, man. Convicted U.S. murderer Samuel Little confesses to killing 90 women. It is crazy. If the 78-year-old's claims are confirmed, y'all, it would make him one of the worst serial killers in American history. Let's get right into it. The 78-year-old convicted murderer serving a life sentence in Texas prison has confessed to killing 90 women, y'all, over the course of 4 decades. He's been doing it for a hot minute. Which, if his confessions are confirmed, y'all, would make him one of the worst serial killers in American history. Samuel Little, who is serving a life term without the possibility of parole after being found guilty in 2014 of 3 murders in California, y'all. He already doing life without parole, so he trying to get his rep up, I guess. Confessed to killing in multiple states during an interview with law enforcement officials. Described by the FBI as having a dark, violent streak to 34 murders and are working to corroborate many others. The FBI, which this week released a report into Little's criminal past, said in a statement law enforcement has only recently begun unraveling the true extent of his crime. Little's nomadic lifestyle and violent history has sent investigators looking across 36 cities, count them, 36, and 16 states at his alleged crime. Little was convicted 4 years ago over the deaths years earlier of the 3 women in Los Angeles area. The FBI's Kevin Fitzsimmons said the biggest lesson in this case is the power of information sharing. These connections all started in our database of violent crime. Y'all, if Little is confirmed, he will be one of the biggest serial killers in American history. This man is crazy, but they say he comes off as a grandpa. He comes off as somebody's grandpa, but he just described the killing, say what he did to him. Most of them were sex workers, drug addicts, and he targeted them and he dumped the bodies in rural areas. I got several videos, so I'm not gonna hold you long, but let me know and drop a comment what you think about your boy Samuel Little. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Don't play with that like button. Yes,
Samuel Little could be the worst serial killer in American history. The 78-year-old now claiming he murdered more than 90 people across the country.
That's a scary number. That's more than the BTK killer and the Green River killer.
The FBI says so far it's corroborated 36 of those murders, and now they're looking to connect him to nearly 60 others. One involves an unidentified woman found in Maryland in 1972. Little says she was from Massachusetts, recently divorced, and may have been a mother. He's also confessed to the murder of another woman, possibly from Massachusetts. He says he killed her in Kendall, Florida in 1973. She was around 45 years old, possibly named Sarah. Investigators are now working to try to match that confession with an unsolved case. Little claims he picked up vulnerable women, often involved in drugs or prostitution, and then strangled them. In many of the cases, the deaths were never investigated until now.
The details he gave were so close to what happened, law enforcement authorities were able to close these cases out.
The FBI says Little is in poor health and will likely die in prison, so investigators are racing to identify as many of his victims as possible. And the FBI is asking anyone with information about these cases or is missing a loved one to contact them. They're also encouraging police to revisit unsolved cases, see if there could be a connection. Ed?
78-year-old man. He looks like he's a pretty good sized guy, you know, but talking to him, my initial impressions of him were that it's like I'm talking to a grandpa. And that's really how he came across to me. And, you know, I know this guy's a serial killer. He's already been, you know, charged on 3 murders in California, linked to a multitude of other murders. But when I'm talking to him, just like we're sitting right here, you know, it's like I'm talking to a grandpa. And that's how he came across.
And then, did you ask him about, did you kill people in Houston?
We talked, no, he admitted to killing somebody here in Houston. Now, we try to get more specific information from him, and we were looking at 2 cases from the 70s and one in the 80s. And when we started talking more about the 2 cases that we're looking at, he kind of changed the timeline on us, and so he kind of threw us for a loop. He's saying, no, you know, I think it was sometime in the 90s. So he started changing things up a little bit.
Does his criminal history show he was?
Well, see, that's the other thing too. He's so transient that he's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we can place him here in Texas at several time periods. But if you're looking at the way he goes, you know, he basically goes from east to west, back and forth, back and forth. Now, sometimes he gets popped for little stuff and gets checked by a police department somewhere, so we definitively know, hey, he was here at a certain time. Other times it's kind of hard to say because he's been flying under the radar for so long. But he admits to committing at least 1 murder here in Houston, and he also did say he didn't like Houston very much, so you know, he didn't spend a whole lot of time here.
Do you believe him that he killed someone in Houston?
Well, given the original information that we got from the Ranger, yes, because like I said, we're looking at 2 cases that fit pretty darn close to what he described, how he did it, and more or less where he did it.
These are all of the places that detectives are digging into cold case murders. You can see a concentration in our area there in Florida.
An accused serial killer has confessed to killing 90 women, including 2 here in the Tampa Bay area. ABC Action News reporter Sarah Hollenbeck is live at the Tampa Police Department for us right now. Sarah, detectives tell you that they're working with the FBI very closely on these cases.
Absolutely. Right now this morning, those detectives are looking at several other cold cases, trying to figure out if there are any connections. Right now, they tell us they have not found any direct connections with Samuel Little, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. And this morning, they're working very closely with the FBI to find any of those possible links. Now, the FBI says Samuel Little is already serving time in prison for 3 murders, but he recently confessed to killing 90 women over the course of 35 years. 2 of those crimes may have happened here in Tampa Bay. And here's what Little told those investigators. He admitted to killing a black woman in 1984 in Tampa and another black woman in either 1977 or 1978, who he confessed to killing in Plant City, but he told investigators that he actually met her in Clearwater.